Subscribe, please.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and that's right, I am here with War of the Worlds by DVG. It is a game designed by, I'm hoping I'm saying this right, Arnaud Della Sega, and artwork is by Nicholas Trell. And this is a hard game. I'm going to go ahead and just say it right off the bat. This is not one of the ones that you're going to take and play and just kind of walk your way through. This one, it kicks you in the teeth a lot. Pretty much start to finish. And you start off with some of your production areas just getting taken right off the map. Now, I have the East Coast version of this game. There are multiple versions of it. This one is the US, and the US operates just a little bit different than some of the other versions, like the UK version of the game operates, in the fact that the US version not only has areas which are designated by the different colors that you see here around the board, but also the states are included as well. And as units will move through, they're not going to move just into an area, they will move into the states themselves. So it's a bigger map, should you say. You're not just moving from this green spot to this pink spot to this orangish spot over here to this yellow. You're going to move individually through the states. So there's some small little differences that are going to be accounted for throughout that. Not to mention the higher production capacity of the US is kind of taken into account as far as the game's concerned. I think the UK starts with somewhere around 20 or 24 production, and with the US you get over 40 depending on which area you get destroyed. But because of that, you start off with a mess load more bad guys on the board. So even though you have the ability to have more, you're fighting a hell of a lot more, which honestly, I think it makes the game harder than some of the other different versions. Now, I've gone ahead and I've got the game set up and pretty much ready to go, because there's a lot of little counters that are going to go onto the board. I'm going to just touch over setup real quick, though, so you guys understand what I've got all laid out here. Since this game is a little bit longer and does take a little while to play through, and I am quite busy still packing up, I'm going to take and have this kind of be a quick review through where I play through a few rounds, let you guys see how the actual play of the game is going to work. And then in the second part of the video, we'll touch on some of the other aspects of the game that maybe we didn't touch on in the first part. I will say, if you are looking for a easier version of the game, this is one of those times at which the optional rules will come into play. The Tesla research rules, I'm probably not going to use them here in the first video. We'll probably do that in the second. But they add a lot of special Tesla technology to the game, and that actually does reduce the difficulty of the game, because it adds some special technologies and it slows the enemy down. Because you really, the little demos that I've had with this game so far, you never feel like you're getting ahead. You always just feel like you're just holding on by the skin of your teeth, which I guess is kind of appropriate since you're fighting, 50-foot tripods and you're fighting them with cannons in this game, since it is, set back in the day. But those Tesla technologies do help. We'll cover those a little bit more onto the on the second video. Setup, though, is relatively easy. You're going to there's some counters, I'll take and put them up in here in the corner for you, that are going to go along here along the track that you just use for your information, is to keep track of the humans' victory points, the aliens' victory points, and then your production points. You've got one counter you're going to have over here on the right side that you're just going to keep track of for your sequence of play. Again, with DVG, I love how the sequence of play, very easy, written right here on the side of the board. Not to mention the big player aid that you get with the game. There is a larger player aid just because of more map space for the US version of it, but it is laid out in the order of the sequence of play. So you've got the production phase, battle phase, devastation phase, and so on. Just matches up right here with your little sequence of play, so you can just kind of rotate through. to whatever you need. I really like how they set that up. It works very well in my opinion. Also, as part of setup, you're going to take your little production counters, these little goofy looking things, and there are a couple of different types. They have multiple different numbers on them, going up to 12, and they'll either have yellow, green, or blue cogs on them. Only one area is going to have blue, and that's going to be your capital, Washington, D.C., over here for the U.S., and then whatever area you're playing for. As you take damage to your different areas, you'll simply rotate your counter down. So if this one was 10, it took 1 damage, you would just rotate it over there to 9. And then if it took more damage, then you would take and switch over to ones that have lower numbers, like this, where it goes to 8. And you see those cogs in the middle go down, and that's your actual production points. So I don't have 8 production points with that one. I have 2 cogs, so that's 2 production points. The 10 is 4, 6, whatever. Like I said, the US starts with a lot more, but they're fighting a lot more. Honestly, I could see the US not starting with the 6 extra waves that are on the board and still have it be a fair fight with just all the crap, or maybe half of it, instead. What I'm referring to is you have these 3 handler tokens. All right, these are part of the things that help produce extra tripods onto the map for you, and you're going to start with 3: green, yellow, and red on the map. Green here, yellow, red down over here in Florida, and on top of those, you're going to have these little wave counters. Okay. Here's one of them. They're numbered 1 through 5. And these circles that I have right there at the very top, you don't need to see what's in them. Just understand that that's where you're going to store the tripods that are considered to be in this wave. So wave 1, you're going to take and roll to see where it's going to start. And everything in this game is based off of your 6-sided dice, but it's a custom 6-sided dice that has green, yellow, and red, obviously. Everything is either green, yellow, and red, and actually makes the game very easy to understand when you're looking at your player aid, because you'll just look and see, okay, whatever range or whatever I'm doing, if it rolls this color, then this is done. If it rolls this, then this is it. It makes it very easy. I was actually a little skeptical about that, but when I started playing with it, I was like, okay, yeah, it actually does make it simple. But like I was saying, as part of setup, you'll take and have a couple of these waves that each have 5 tripods in them. The UK starts with, I want to say it's like 3 or 4. Someone will let me know. They start with less in different countries. US, again, they get hit with everything. You'll store those right there at the top, randomly drawn. But after you take and randomly select where they go, first wave went here in Texas for me. Second wave went over here into Florida. The U.S. also gets 6 individual waves. Okay, and this is kind of a pain in the butt. You'll take 6 of these tripod counters, and they're all different colors. They've got black and green and red and blue and something else, I think, on them, and that's yellow. That's what it is. And you'll take and use those colors to determine the types of attack they do actually in battle. You guys will see that here in a little bit. It's really ingenious AI system in the game. But after you determine your first 2 major waves, all right, that's kind of what I think of them as major waves, the ones that have actual wave counters, you're going to take and roll again for the 3 locations 6 times and place those counters out. Texas ended up being devastated for me, and it got 5 of those. But that's actually kind of expected, considering rolling green was Texas, and there's 3 sides of this that have green, 2 sides that have yellow, and 1 side that has red. So that helps you kind of determine your odds on that. But it actually gave me an idea of a strategy to go with and kind of start with, because as the game goes on, you're going to have to consider each one of these individual tripods that's placed out on the map as its own wave, which means extra devastation, which means more areas are destroyed and taken out, and losing your production and putting refugees on the board, messing you up. But I've only got 1 tripod up here. I kind of lucked out in that. So if I start out heavy up there, I can take and attack that tripod, take that little SOB out, and then move my forces south and try to keep them, down here in the south. Well, so have to see how it pans out. You really don't get a whole lot of forces in this game. It's not like some of the others. Like, this kind of, at first, was really making me think of Field Commander Napoleon and some of the mechanics and just the feel of the game. But that very quickly kind of went away because in that one, you feel like you have a chance, is a way to kind of put it. And this, like I said, it really just kind of feels like you're holding on. Now, like I said, the Tesla research really does kind of change the tempo of the game and make you feel like you have a little bit better fighting chance with your laser cannons and the Tesla tripod that you can build up and use. But like I said, we'll take and touch on that later. One other aspect which we'll touch on when we get into our production is there are these harbors around the edge of the continental U.S. here, and you're going to use those to help refugees who are fleeing the alien tripods escape. So you're going to try to take and get them out to one of those harbors so they can get away from the aliens, because if the aliens capture them, they get more bonus points. All right, I'm going to take and zoom in up here. We're going to start with our production phase, and since I know I'm building up there to start with, I'm going to zoom up there so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first phase of the game is going to be the production phase, and that's where you're buying your troops, where you can buy infantry and cavalry and cannons and all that other good stuff. Now, this game is a little bit different in that infantry are not your combat forces, really. They can't attack tripods, they can't do any damage to them. Only your field guns and siege guns are actually going to be able to do any damage to those things. So you need to take and focus on those rather than infantry. But infantry can take and destroy them before they're made when you have cylinders. Where are those cylinders? Here we go. Grab one of the little counters. When they're kind of gearing up later on to take and make more tripods, you can take and kill off some of them with infantry. That way, plus infantry can kind of lay down booby traps, which are called powder kegs, in different states that if the tripods enter it, there's a chance they'll take damage and or be destroyed, which is cool that you can take and actually upgrade those with Tesla technology as well. One other thing you want to keep track of when you're looking here on your map is, excuse me, these factory looking things are where you can place troops. And then over here, if it's got a hill symbol, all right, like this, it starts you off with an advantage over the aliens. So you want to try to fight your battles in areas where you have hills if possible. It's not always going to be possible, but you can take and work that. Now, I forgot to mention that one thing earlier. Let me back up for a sec. You are going to have your deck of event cards. Just like every DVG game, you're going to have event cards. On the back of the event card, it's going to say one of the segments of the sequence of play, whether production, battle, devastation, whatever phase it is, and it's going to say it right there on the top. When you hit that phase, you'll play that card. So you're going to shuffle them all up. And then this one, for example, my top one, is the Martian action event. So when we get to the Martians action, they're going to take we'll draw this card and resolve whatever the event is. And it's just going to be like that. You're just going to keep drawing the top card whenever you hit that event. All right. So just because, say, we had one here in the production phase, if the next one that I drew was for the battle phase, the very next phase, that event would still play. You're not going to have like so many events per turn. You're going to just keep drawing them as you hit whatever phase it is. Now, like I said previously, I already went and added up all my production points that I have left after they destroyed it, and I've got 42. And when you look at the top of your little player aid there, it shows you how much all the different items cost. Harbors, guns, warships. Warships you'll actually buy when you have a naval battle, which is involved in escape. We'll cover that here in a little bit. Right now, I really don't see a need for infantry or cavalry. Cavalry actually can help with battle plans, but I don't think I'll have enough really to be useful for that, so not worth wasting the 10 points on. I'm going for my strategy of getting a field gun and a siege gun. A field gun is pretty much just a single fire gun, and a siege gun is a double fire gun. You get to roll twice with it. So I have enough that I could get 3 field guns, but I would only have enough money to move 2 units afterwards. If I get a field gun and a siege gun, I'll have enough production points to take and move both of those and try to take out this single tripod wave up here and clear out my northern sector. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. I'm taking and spending 34 points, and I'm placing these guys in Wisconsin because Wisconsin has this green area all up here is all associated with this bit of production. If this were destroyed, I couldn't place these guys here, but it's not, so I can. See, 42 minus, what did I say it was, 34. So that leaves me with 8. So you can put that there. Keep track of what I got. So I've got 8 production points left. Now I'm going to take and spend 4 of those because I can spend 2 points per unit to take and move them during the production phase. So I'm going to go ahead and move them, spending 4 more production points, and I'll save the rest of my production points to move them into that state so I can go ahead and have a battle right here off the bat. And this is the best odds I'm going to have. A single tripod against a couple of my guns, plus, I've got an upgraded siege gun. So that's, perfect for me. We're going to take and jump right straight into the battle phase now. Okay, so we are moved down into the battle phase now, and I've already got our land battle map laid out here. There is a cute little token you can take and place into the state where the battle is taking place. Now, for us, we have a single tripod and my 2 guns. Now, the order in which the units are set up is actually determined by the initiative. If it's a battle being fought where I have hills, then I have initiative. I'm going to have the advantage. If not, the tripods are going to have advantage, which means I have to set up my guns first. That's unfortunate. Now, right here along this part of the map, you can see these gun-looking icons right here. That's where you're going to set any of your field guns or siege guns. They're going to go there, and any infantry, refugees, or cavalry are going to be here in the back because they can't fight the tripods. All right, so your guns are trying to hold them back, and if the tripods hit them, they'll take and destroy them. Now, I'm trying to decide where I'm going to put it because I don't know where this tripod's going to be, and I want to at least protect my expensive gun if possible. But if I put him here, right here in the center, he's going to be in range. Let's see, 3 hexes away. So he's going to be in range of B, C, and D right off the bat. So I'm going to back him up right there, and we'll put the field gun there. We'll kind of spread them out a little bit, and we'll hope for the best. Now, the way the AI works for the enemy is actually really easy, and it's really intuitive. So for setup, you're going to take and just draw a card. We're going to look. We have a black tripod. So we see, looking down on our card, black is B. It goes right there in the B hex. No! Son of a bitch. Oh, look at that. Straight in line with my damn gun. Arrgh. Now, they're always going to go first. And here's the thing, all right? You can have something that's called earthenworks. Let me grab one of those counters real quick. And this is a good thing about having infantry or being in hills is you can have extras of these. And they're defenses for your guns, okay? So you can take and have these, and they don't block hits. They effectively conceal your guns. And to fire your gun, you would have to remove one of these. Or if the tripods try to detect you, if that's on the card about detection, they'll remove some of these. And they can't actually fire and destroy your guns until they detect them. Now, if they move into the hex, they'll destroy you. But these are kind of like shields for your guns. I went real quick into this battle, so I didn't bother to take and get any earthenworks or any defenses. So if this guy comes down, he's just going to be tearing my guns up. Now, when you look at this card, you're going to take and read it top to bottom, left to right, pretty much just like normal. And you'll start your colors, like looking at the colors of the tripods. So if this is the card we used for setup. But if this was his card, he would move one down to the left, and then he would attempt to fire. That's it. If they are damaged, so if the tripod has taken a hit, then he's going to take and only do the first thing that's on there. So it makes it real simple. Let's take and draw a card for him. We'll get started into the attack. And he's going to detect and then move one down to the right. So this is actually pretty good for me. We don't have any green, yellow, red, or blue tripods to worry about. So he's going to detect. My guys are already detected. Nothing to worry about. And then he moves one down to the right. So he's actually at range 3 of both of my guns. This actually is a good thing. I can take and attempt to attack him and try to kill this little SOB off. Now, your attacks against them and pretty much their attacks against you, it's all going to be range dependent and color dependent. If they're adjacent, you need to roll green. If they're 2 hexes away, you need to roll yellow. And if they're 3 hexes away, you need to roll red. That's it. It is just that simple. Now it is on the player rate here, just to show you, but it's really easy to keep track of it on what you need to roll to attack the enemy. Now, since I don't have any earthenworks to worry about, there's no need to worry about firing. I'm going to take every chance I can to weaken this guy. I'll roll with my single fire gun first. Only a red will take and do any damage to him. We're kind of hoping for the best here. No, it's a green. So now my siege gun there, I get to roll 2 dice because he gets 2 attacks. Again, it's a 3 hex attack, or 3 hex range attack. So I need a red. 2 reds would destroy him, but I doubt I'm going to get that. But I would take a single red to take the damage on him. Come on. No, yellow and green. No. I kind of feel like I'm playing that old game of Simon. No. And just like that, we got our first round done. The game's not hard in and of itself, but the actual mechanics of the game, they're hard. No, he's going to fire. He's going to fire and then move down to the right, or to the left. Oh, I'll get you, Batman. Okay. So, since he's going to fire, and he's going to fire at the closest enemy, both of my guys are closest, so I get to pick which one he's going to fire at. Obviously, I'm not going to have him pick to fire at my siege gun. I'll have him fire at this guy. And the good part is he's firing before he moves, so he still needs a red to hit, and watch, the red's going to come up. I guarantee it. And if he does, he'll destroy my gun, and then he'll move down to the left. Nope, green, so we're still good. So now this brings him closer. We are back to my turn, okay? Now, still 3 hexes away from this gun, but 2 hexes away from this one. So now he's just going to need a yellow, but he's still going to need a red. So we'll roll with the red first and see if I can get a Hail Mary shot into him, get him damaged. Come on, baby. Oh, there it is. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. And then all you have to do is take and flip him over, and it shows damaged. We know he's torn up, taking a few hits, which I keep pulling off my thing. I still got to roll. I don't know how cannonballs were going to damage him. I mean, in the War of the Worlds movie, they were firing javelin rockets and 105 shells and all the other shit at them, and they were just bouncing off the shields. These tripods need to work on upgrading their shields. All right, either one of these comes up yellow, we're good to go. Come on. Daddy needs a new pair of yellow. Well, no, neither one got it. Damn it! Damn it all to hell. I got a green and a red. Tell you what, if that dice had rolled off of there, I would have taken that shit. All right, we gotta draw another one. Now, a good part for us. No. This is so bad. He couldn't move first, so I could pick. Damn. He's firing first, which means he's got to fire at my closest guy, and he needs a yellow. Watch, we're gonna get the yellow now, and the tripod's gonna. And the thing is, he's not gonna move. So if he kills this guy, then this guy is all I've got is my long range attacker against him. So I'd still be needing to roll a red. Oh, come on. Green or red, green or red, green or red. Green! That's what I'm talking about, baby. Okay. We're still doing good. Let me just pull this off to the side. All right. Again, still need a red or I need a yellow. So let's get the red. Let's get the red, baby. Let's take down the tripod. This is what we need. Green. You suck. All right. 2 shots for yellow. Look, I'm holding it right there. It's yellow. Yellow. Come on, baby. Yellow for daddy. Couple of yellows. There it is. Finally got that SOB. I was worried there for a second. I was sure after we missed him on that last one that he was a goner. All right, so we cleared it off. That means we're good. We're going to take and bring them back down to the playing field and keep on going. All right, we're back down to the map. You guys can see my 2 guns are still sitting up here nice and pretty in Minnesota with one of those little handling machines. I'm going to take and bring them south over the course of the next so many turns during my action phases, move them through the states, try to get them a little bit farther. I might spend some action points moving them down to try to quicken it up a little bit because they're not going to be needed up north for a little while. Oh, by the way, this little factory over here right in North Carolina, that's pretty much right on top of my house. So that's where Gimpy lives over here in North Carolina. Very nice place, hot weather, humid as hell pretty much all the time, but very nice area. All right, anyway, now we are on to our Devastation phase. And Devastation is when they're tossing their smoke and doing the ugly red weed where they suck the people up and they spit them out everywhere. It's kind of funny, that part of the movie. Anyway, there's a cool part right here on your player aid, and it shows you what they're going to do. Now you're going to take and roll on this little chart for each one of the waves, okay? And depending on how many tripods are in the wave is going to depend on what kind of damage it does with whatever weapon it's using. Heat ray, black smoke, or panic. Black smoke, I mean, is it like poisonous smoke? I don't know. I never saw the old movie. I just saw the Tom Cruise movie from a few years back. When was it, like 2004 or 5, whenever that movie was made. All right, so we got one wave here, one big wave, 2 big waves, one big wave, and then 5 of these guys. So I'll tell you what, we'll do our one big wave over here, one big wave, and then we'll do a bunch of these little waves and see how Florida's going to do. All right, so Florida, we will roll ourselves a single die, and we will see what kind of weapon they're going to use. Hopefully nothing too bad, since they have 5 tripods up in their little staging area, which means they're going to use the top most damaging thing of whatever they have. Yellow, they're using black smoke, which means I am losing 7 workforce, 2 refugees, and 2 human victory points. Well, I don't have any victory points yet, so I don't have to worry about that. I only have 8 production there. So this, you guys can see, I'm actually going down from 2 gears to 1, and 1 more loss in Florida, and this place is destroyed, and I will no longer have any production there. So that is bad juju for me. 2 refugees. So I'm going to grab myself a refugee counter here. Where are my refugees? Are they here? Where are my refugees? Oh, here they are. All right, so you take one of your little refugee counters, flip over to side 2 there. And these can turn into Martian victory points, like I said, if they get captured. So you want to avoid that if possible. And I would lose victory points, but again, I don't have any victory points yet, so nothing to lose. Now, if they destroy an area, say reducing the workforce takes and destroys the area, then you don't have to take and continue. You're not going to continue generating refugees and losing victory points. Now, we would do it here in Texas. Actually, no, we don't have to do it for Texas. Texas is already destroyed, so I do not have to worry about that. Woohoo! Alright, damn. I was worried there for a second. Yeah, with this already being destroyed, I don't have to worry about that crap. Okay, so since the devastation phase is good, we're going to take and pop down to the human action phase. And this is where you can take and move your units and place powder kegs and do all the good stuff. I don't have any infantry or anything really I can do yet, so I'll just take and move those guys down. Oh, by the way, there is this little, let me reach over there, little baggie of stands to take and put the counters on if you want them standing up. They look cool putting them in that, but it's easier for you guys to see it when I'm filming it if they're laying down. And honestly, it's kind of a hassle, so I don't worry about it, but they are a neat inclusion, so I do like that. Anyway, with the human action phase, there's really nothing else I'm going to worry about doing at this point, so I'm going to take and kick off. The escape phase, this is where the oh, wait. Back to human action phase. Forgot about my little refugees here. I've got 2 refugees, and this area cannot support them because it's only got 1 gear left in it. So I'm going to move these refugees as well. And since the U.S. is so big, they can actually take and move 2 states instead of 1. Military can only move 1, but refugees can move 2. I'm going to move them up here into South Carolina. It's going to take the tripods a little while to get there, and I can put a harbor here in North Carolina and try to get these guys out. So now we're going to escape phase. And there's really nothing to go on yet. None of these guys are leaving. This is the point where you would make an attempt to try to get them to leave if I had bought a harbor, and you would roll, possibly have sea encounters, all that good stuff. We'll take on to that into the next video when we've got a little more going on. Now, we're going into the Martian action phase, and this is when they're going to move around and do a whole bunch of their crap. But our card is the Martian action event. So let's see what we got. The Stillness. The wave with the most tripods does not act. Oh, that's great. That really is great. Okay. 1 and 2 both have the most tripods. So to save myself rolling, we'll just take and say 2 doesn't act, and we'll let 1 act, so everything from over here in Texas is acting, and 2's just left alone. So, there we go. Now, with the Martian action phase, you're going to determine what they're going to do based on the color of whatever little production area they're in. All right, so the little green gears, yellow gears, blue gears, or destroyed, and you're going to look on your action event chart here, and it's going to tell you they're either going to move, they're going to get new tripods, they're going to try to produce the flying machine, which is pretty much a real quick way to lose the game, because when they produce flying machines, all they got to do is produce 4 pieces, and bam, they win the game. But you'll look here determining what type of area they're in. Now for us, we've got to roll 6 times over here on the left and determine what they're going to do, because this is a destroyed or red weed area. Now, let's see. At the end of this too, we also have to see if this destroyed area becomes red weed from spewing out all those processed humans. All right, we'll just go left to right here. Now, let's see. Let's grab this up. And green is going to be move. Yellow is going to be arrival plus split, which means it'll get a tripod, and then that tripod will take and move off somewhere. Green, so this tripod's going to move. So I'm going to look, and it's in the state of Texas. Texas, right down here. See where it says Texas. It'll either go to Arkansas, C, or Louisiana. So let's see where the top one's going. It is going to Louisiana, so we will move that one there. The next one, see what he's going to do. He's also going to move, and we'll see where he's going. He is going to Arkansas. Yay, they're just splitting out everywhere. And I'll tell you what, we will take and do the rest of this off camera real quick. Save time. This is a piece of the flying machine. This is what I was talking about when you take and roll. You take and run the chance of potentially having the aliens create this. All they have to do is create all 4 pieces, and they win the game. So it's a real easy way to win the game very, very quickly if the dice go against you. But like I said, there is a Tesla technology that makes it to where it reduces the likelihood of them actually completing that saucer that they're trying to build. So when you play with the Tesla research, it actually does make the game a little bit easier in that aspect. Oh, I did forget to do my victory points. I just noticed because I was getting ready to do the aliens victory points. During the escape phase, you're going to do the humans victory points, and then for the aliens, you're going to do the alien victory points. It is actually marked right here on your player aid. I just forgot, so dumb gimpy. Right here, human victory points, you're going to gain 1 for each producing region, not for each production, but for each producing region, and then for any escaped refugees. I don't have any escaped refugees, and I think there are 11 production areas. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, there's 11. I have 10 producing, so I get 10 points. That literally just means that my little germ counter moves up. You can kind of think of your germ counter as the 10s, which this thing looks like a planet, doesn't it? It really does look like a planet. So it's kind of like the 10s for your victory points. You've got your 1s that you'll go up, and for every 10 of these, you gain 1 germ counter. And then when you gain 10 of these, so effectively 100 points, you win. The Martians are the same way. This is their 10s, their little Martian planet. And when that gets up to 10, they win, and their little M counter represents their ones. So for every 10 of these, you gain 1 Martian red planet. And so where's their victory points? That's right. They gain 2 victory points for each destroyed region, listed here, and then 4 victory points for each red weed region. And then they gain points for capturing people as well. They haven't captured any yet. So they have this potentially, depending on what it's going to be. If it rolls red, it becomes red weed. So let's see how many points there. Nope, still yellow. So still that. They gain 2 points. We'll pop their little counter up just like that. And that should clear us up. Sorry about forgetting the human victory points, but it's oh well. Now you guys can see that's how they have the potential to win, either through their colonization points, which is what their little Martian red planet represents, or from building their flying machine. Your way to win is to take and get your points up, get the germs high enough, and kill them off just like happened in the movie. Now, at that point, you go down to your assembly phase, and that's where you're going to have the potential for new tripods to be coming onto the map from the cylinders, which let me grab one of those little counter that I showed to you guys earlier, but we do not have any cylinders on the map yet. The cylinders will actually start coming for waves 3, 4, and 5 at the victory point when you get into the germ counter gets to rather 3, 6, or 9. So basically when you have 30, 60, or 90 points, that's when the 3rd, 4th, and 5th waves will take and appear, and you'll take and do the same things before assembly takes and kicks off. And yeah, basically what you're looking for is to see if you have the cylinder, like if the cylinder has actually been placed on the map, you've hit that point in the game, you're going to roll the die and you're seeing if it matches the color of your little handler. So either green, yellow, or red. And if it matches it, then it changes from its cylinder into the actual wave counter, which are these little doohickeys, and then you're good to go. So that's where humans can come in handy if they can get over to the cylinder, take out some of the tripods that are in it. So if it does become a wave, it's not as powerful with 5 tripods, because 5 tripods are just a horrible, horrible mess to try to take down. But that's effectively the first turn of the game. You guys see the mechanics of the game aren't hard, but the tripods are everywhere. In the first turn, all I did was clear out 1 tripod, and they've moved all over. They're at sea. They're in Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Florida. They're killing off refugees. They're turning people into red weed. So, yeah, this isn't a game that you win. This is a game that you endure. But we will pick back up with the second part of the review through. We'll play another round of the game through the turns, and then we'll take and add in some of the Tesla research Might play it ahead a little bit to show you guys a little bit farther into it, let you see how the refugees are going to flee and how some of the other counters, some of the weapons get involved, and keg stands and all the good stuff that you can do it. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys stay tuned. I'll catch you in the next one.